From the moment they started playing together in the early 80s, Sonic Youth blurred the line between punk and the avant-garde. Their music found common ground between the Ramones' three-chord thrash and downtown composer Glenn Branca's dissonant guitar symphonies, which often involved Sonic Youth guitarists Thurston Moore and Lee Ranaldo. When Sonic Youth began work on their fifth studio album, Daydream Nation, those two sides of the band's identity collided, and they began making music that was more ambitious and more vital than anything they'd done before. Released on October 18, 1988, Daydream Nation offered 2 LPs of dissonant, sprawling rock and roll. At the time, double albums were still seen as a lingering artifact of rock 70s bloat, especially in the punk scene, where speed and concision still ruled. With their trademark sense of irony, Sonic Youth acknowledged this lineage by adding cymbals to each album side as a nod to Led Zeppelin IV's iconic runes, and by calling the closing suite of songs a trilogy, in the style of concept album bands like Emerson, Lake and Palmer. But Sonic Youth also realized the double album could work as a punk statement. A few years prior, 2 of their closest comrades from the hardcore scene had released groundbreaking 2-disc sets, the Minutemen's Double Nickels on the Dime and Husker Du's Zen Arcade. Giving themselves more room for their songs to stretch out helped Sonic Youth just let it flow, as Moore said, mirroring the expansive jams of their live shows. On previous albums, they'd edited their songs down. This time, they expanded them in concert before taking them into the studio. When Moore told Black Flag singer Henry Rollins about the epic scale of their new material, Rollins replied, "That's what I want to hear from Sonic Youth." Recorded in the summer of 1988 at Green Street Studios, which the band chose because it had previously been used by both Philip Glass and Public Enemy, Daydream Nation is the most potent distillation of what would become Sonic Youth's signature sound. Moore and Ronaldo's guitars slash and spin around Kim Gordon's elemental bass lines and Steve Shelley's hardcore-infused drumming. The unconventional guitar tunings inspired by Branca add a rich, noisy texture to Daydream Nation's primal aggression. But even as they grew more musically ambitious, they insisted they were still punks at heart. When asked about Branca's influence, Moore claimed, "He's into the harmonic series. We're into the TV series." Daydream Nation's searing opener, Teenage Riot, originally titled Rock and Roll for President, imagines an alternate universe America where Jay Mascis, the slacker guitar god who fronts Dinosaur Jr., is president. Its video splices together grainy footage from Sonic Youth shows with clips of pop culture idols, ranging from Patti Smith to Pee Wee Herman, all taken from the band's own collection of videotaped TV shows. Gordon's song, The Sprawl, takes its title from the fictional megacity in William Gibson's sci-fi classic Neuromancer, while Kissability weaves together Hollywood gossip she'd heard growing up in L.A. Meanwhile, Ronaldo reaches back into New York art history to borrow dialogue from Andy Warhol's film Chelsea Girls for the lyrics to Eric's Trip.
My head's on straight. My girlfriend's beautiful. It looks pretty good to me.
On Daydream Nation, all of these influences blended together inside music that recontextualized culture at breakneck speed. The songs may have been complicated enough for the band to need note cards to keep their parts in order, but the music was still raw and fiery. Ronaldo even asked engineer Nick Sansano to make sure his guitar stayed permanently in the red. Its dissonant, dystopian vision captured the national mood during the waning days of the Reagan administration. At the same time, it also captured one of modern rock's greatest bands at the height of their power. The result was an album more about spirit than perfection, more about energy than precision. As Gordon would say years later, it doesn't take great playing or even great sound to make a great album.